Hi everyone, it's Ella here and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you as a beginner how to achieve an everyday makeup look. So let's get right into it. So the first thing you want to do is moisturize. So I'm going to be using this moisturizer from Blossom Cosmetics. So you're going to apply this all around your face, especially the under eye. So this helps product to blend in seamlessly, especially on the under eye. So just massage it in to let that dry a bit. So next thing, I'm going to be using this Aqua Grip Primer from Mesmetics. So this, I don't like to apply it everywhere, but you can apply it everywhere. So I go with my T-zone. And these corners of my face. So for foundation, I'm going to be using two foundation. I'm going to mix in this, I think, Jade Dress and V Beauty. The Jade Dress in the shade Espresso 09 and the V Beauty in the shade Maroon 8. So I'm going to be mixing them together to achieve my exact shade. So for foundation, I like to use a little amount because my skin is quite clear, but if you have blemishes on your face, you can go in with more, like a full coverage foundation. But for me, this does it for me. So I'm going to be using a very soft beauty blender. Emphasis on very soft. You can see how fluffy this is. So I'm just going to blend that in gently. So I'm not dragging, I'm tapping in the foundation. You can see how this blends into my skin practically. So you can see how this blends into my skin area. So the next step is contour, and I'm going to be using this palette from CPD. It's a contour and blush palette. It's actually a cheek glaze. For me, I use it for both my contour and blush. So I'm going to be using this. You can see it's almost finished. In fact, it's finished. I'm just using the last one. For my contour, I like to highlight underneath the cheekbone, directly here. 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 And my forehead. Then I like to see highlights here. Sorry, I like to stick contour here and here. Then the sides of my nose. You can see the effect this gives on my face already. Yes. Please sculpt your face. Don't be scared of contour. It gives your face an illusion of a well sculpted face. So that's it. So next thing is blush. I'm going to be using this shade of blush. So you're going to apply it on your cheekbone. So you can use any shade of blush you like, if you can work your way through it. So I'm just going to blend this in. So I love blush, I really love blush. So I'm going to go in with a brighter shade of blush from this palette. This is the Bicham lipstick palette. So I'm going to be using this shade of blush. Just a little. Next step is concealer, and I'm going to be using this concealer from Ava Cosmetics in the shade A50. So for concealer, I like to go in with it here, the inner corners of your eyes, the ending part of your eyes, to give a lifted face. your chin, your forehead, and the bridge of your nose. So I will let the under eye sit while I blend this other part. So you just dab, 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 dab. Can you see? Remember I contoured my chin. Can you see the illusion it gives? Yeah. So the forehead, just blend in a circular motion, like the way I'm doing it. Can you see the effects? Then pinch your beauty blender and go in with the bridge of your nose. And for my under eye, you have to look up and blend. So you have to blend, blend, blend until you don't see any harsh line, but don't over blend your concealer, if not you blend everything away. So for this part, I'm taking it in an upward motion to the edges or the corners of my eyes. You can see the difference between this eye. You can see how sculpted this look. So let's do the other eye. So I love this concealer so much, and I'll advise you to purchase it. The next step is to set the under eye, and I'm going to be using this setting powder from Camia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, in the shade Front. I'm going to be using a triangle buff to take a little, press that in, just a little, dust off the excess and press. So before I go in, I like to check if my concealer has any harsh line, and I just quickly blend in. So I'm going to press it. See how smooth this setting powder is. It's my favorite setting powder of recent. I have different setting powders I use, but I think this is my favorite at this moment. So the next thing is to go in with a powder, like a shade lighter than my shade for my under eyes. I'm going to be using this V Beauty palette. You can use any powder of your choice, but I love this their powder palette. So I'm going to be using the shade Chocolate. Take a little bit and go in. Ooh, this is a bit light. It's quite light, so I would have gone in with a darker shade, but so well. So ignore my dirty brushes. I batch create content, so I've not had time to wash it. So I'm going to be using Marron, mixing Marron and cream caramel for powder shade all around my face. You see how beautiful this powder is? V Beauty. I've been in their powder for years. I always restock their powders. So the next thing is going with a powder contour. I like to use this Annie's Made It Brown for my contour. I like to use it, yeah. So I go in with this shade. I don't like my contour to be too dark. You know me, I'm using this brush. I can't find my contour brush. So do you see that? Can you see that? So next off, we're going to be applying my blush. I'm going to be using this blush palette from CPD, this shade. So the same place I applied contour, that's why I applied the contour powder. The same place I applied the liquid blush, that's why I'm going to apply this too. So I think that's okay. Now it's time for baking. I'm going to be using the same setting powder I used. So I like to apply under here too, to further enhance the contoured aspect of my face. I'm going to be doing my nose contour using the same brown shade I used for my face. So I'm just contouring the same place I used the liquid contour for. For my eyebrow, I'm going to be using this brow wax, or you can use your normal edge control, but I like this one because it doesn't leave too much oil. I'm going to take a little and slip my brows down. I'm going to use the excess from the setting powder before and just dab that in to absorb. This helps to absorb all the excess oil from the brow gel. Since I'm doing a beginner video, I'm going to be using a brow pencil, so you have to sharpen it to be very sharp. If I was not doing a beginner class, I'm going to be using a brow gel, so anyone you like. So it's going to be this sharp. To wear this to protect using my hand rubbing my face. Yeah, so for this you have to, I'm going to be using a mirror at this point. So I have posted a brow video before, you can check my channel and learn, but I'm still going to illustrate here. So you have to start from here. I don't like to start from here. This is 2026. It's 20. We did that in 2018, 2019. So start from here. Just create a straight line to here, to your arc point, then curve it to meet your ending point. So it should not pass the corner of your eyes. So I'm going to do the same for the up. So now I'm going to fill in gently from the edges. Then for the up parts, I like to go in a stroke manner. You can resharpen your pencil at this point, but I'll just use this and be very gentle. So I'm done with this brows. Can you see how this brows is looking without me concealing it? It looks perfect. I'm going to draw the other one and come back. So we're going to be starting off with a base, an eyeshadow base. I see most of you beginners just going straight to the eyeshadow. So the thing is, if you want that pop, you can do that. But if you want your eyeshadow colors to pop out well, you need an eyeshadow base. So I'm using the Cindy's Beauty eyeshadow base. You can use this or use the Benai eyeshadow base. Yeah. So I'm just going to use my hand. You can use a brush. So I'm just going to press that in gently. You see, I'm not extending it to the upper part, just basically the lid part. So for my eyeshadow, I like to use two different brushes. This one, a major small blending brush, while this to blend off the edges to avoid harsh line. I'm going to be using Annie's Midi Brown. You know by now that is my favorite palette. So I'm starting off with the lighter shade of brown to bring warmth to my eyes. So I'm going to go in here, and blend that into the corners of my eyes, into the corners of my nose rather. Next thing, I'm going to be using another shade of brown, which is this shade and this shade. I like to mix both of them. So yeah, I'm going in the corners of the eye. Just press it down in. Take that, then the excess, bring it up here. Then take it up in a lifted motion to the corners of the eyes. Next off, I'm going to go in with a black shade, but not the darkest black, this black, just a little. Then for the edges, so I want a smoky eye effect. Can you see what that did compared to this eye? Can you see the effect? So I want a shimmer kind of look, and I'm going to be using this palette. Ignore how my palette is looking. It fell and broke, so it's looking dirty. So I'm going to clean it up. I think I'll go with this and this. Now that I'm done, I'm going to be using this brush I showed you guys before to just blend out the edges. So make sure that there is no harsh line. So to line my eyes, I'm going to be using this Carrot Brow Gel. So as a beginner, if you are shaking with the normal eyeliner, use this instead. So for my eye waterline, before I line, I like to go in with the brown shade to just darken it some more. You get. So some of you don't know how to do this under eye. So you take this buff, hold your under eye, and press it down. Yeah. Then just gently go. So next off is my mascara. So you're going to do this as multiple times until you like the effect the mascara has. So to give myself an eye lift, I like to take in small powder by the edges and just lift. So for my lip, I'm going to whiten it up. I'm going to be going in with this palette I used earlier on. This lip palette. So I'm going to be going in with brown. So practically I'm just lip lining my lip. So next thing for the middle part, I'm going to be using my hand. I'm going to be using this nude shade. So I'm just going to press that in. So next up, I'm going with an orange shade. I'm going to be using gloss. I'm going to be using this gloss from Ava Cosmetics. I told you I like Ava Cosmetics. In the shade Sugar Crust. You can get Sugar Crust or Almond Glaze. So those are my two favorites. Yeah. So for this under eye, I like to press it in. You can dust off if you want, but me, I like to press in. To further enhance this look, I'm going to be going with mascara under my eyes. So I'm going to be using this highlighter from Revolution. I don't know if they stopped making this. I've not seen this in years. I've had this for years. I'm going to be using my hand. Just in the places I applied blush before. To set everything in, I'm going to be spraying using the Kiss Beauty spray. I'm going to let this dry. So guys, this is the final look. So let me know if you're going to be trying this. See you in my next video. Bye.